Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a long-awaited Nintendo sequel and what's new for that Final Fantasy Tactics re-release, remake, who knows what to call it. It's going to be a good one because we have Mike Minotti on the show. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm good. I got great news for me, you, Dan, and Jan. We have been selected for that Nintendo Online playtest program. I had us enter as a group. I was watching that thing like a hawk right at 11 a.m. So I got us in.
Good work. I don't think you're going to like it.
Well, shit. All right.
I mean, who knows? Honestly, it's probably going to be a lot of fun with the crew. And there's a lot of ways for us to work together. There's like some running sand back and forth, kind of. Maybe that could be your job. So, okay. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
I thought it was like Ever Next Quest. I played that, or Ever Quest Next. I played
Ever Next Quest.
It's early for Mikey's. I know it's not that early in the East Coast, but I am not a morning person. Well, we'll see. I wonder if we're going to be allowed to act like this game exists this time.
Yeah, I don't think they've established what the rules are going to be for actually discussing it publicly. So far, I think they're being a little bit like, yeah, don't discuss some stuff. But once it's here, like, I don't think we're going to be able to stream it, maybe, but hopefully we'll be able to acknowledge that we played it and can say what it is. Hey, Mike, we got some new overlays here, new music. People might have heard it up top if you are listening to the podcast version. Well, there's some new visuals to go along with that if you're someone who wants to check out the video version. I'm a big fan of this. Basically, we worked with an artist, and I said, I like Pardon the Interruption still. That's the last TV show I really watched 25 years ago. So just kind of do that. And we're doing that, but for video games. And I'm really happy with it. It came out really nice.
Yeah, it's great. I like how it reminds me of Persona 4 a lot, a game you haven't played.
Yes. I've maybe looked at it once. Is yellow the color of Persona?
Well, you know that each Persona has a different color, Jeff.
Persona
That's the
4,
one thing you know about it.
I do know that.
Yellow's the color of Persona 4, and also it's very TV themed. So you have that big fat old style TV there. So yeah, very Persona 4. Looks great.
Persona 4's color is more amber, is the color of its energy. Personally, is my opinion.
I think it's
Mike,
very bright piss yellow.
Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Glad to have you on the show. I'm always like, Mike's got other stuff going on, and it's a bit early for him, so I never want to bother you with it. But you were like, I could do it. I'm like, yay, Mike Minotti back on Game Mess Mornings. So
I did it, everybody. Guess what I did this weekend?
What'd you do? Oh, I think probably the same thing I did this weekend, but I don't know. You tell me.
No, you didn't see Superman.
Oh, I didn't see Superman. I played a lot of Donkey Kong, though. That's what I did.
I did play a lot of Donkey Kong. That's true. I did a lot of that. I liked Superman.
You liked it?
Yeah, I like how he's nice.
It seems to be that's the thing that people take away is like, hey, they made a movie where someone was nice, and that's weird.
Yeah,
that does sound weird now.
Like we don't still have to talk about Man of Steel, but boy, I didn't like that movie. I thought that movie was bad for us.
Yeah, right. As a species, yeah.
I think it was bad for us.
It didn't seem to help for sure.
Yeah, I thought this movie was nice and fun. This is my review. It's nice and fun.
Can you imagine being the guy that got to make Batman versus Superman, and now people are like, well, finally, a fun movie. It's like, you had a Batman versus Superman. That's supposed to be the funnest shit ever, and no one thinks that's fun.
That was one of the most strange experiences in a movie ever for me. Was like, it was halfway through Batman versus Superman. I actually was like dazed out. I was in like a fugue state. And then like all of a sudden my brother tapped me. He's like, did Batman just kill someone? I was like, huh? What? What? Did he? And it was like a weird apocalyptic dream sequence.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's a bad, weird movie.
Yeah, well, been watching some movies and stuff in VR this weekend as well, and someone was doing the Snyder cut of Justice League in VR. I watched like 10 minutes of that. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm glad we're done with this. Happy to move on.
Some people aren't. Some people aren't.
Some people might never be over it. But
right, hey. Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, you have Rebel Moon now. Go watch that on Netflix. That's Snyder's new movie.
People can't stop talking. Just have a million people watch Rebel Moon. I just like find it hard to
probably
believe.
Because Netflix's like subscriber numbers are so huge that kind of every shit movie gets a ton of views. But
Man.
That second movie, maybe not. I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like no one watched that.
Yeah, who watched Trouble Moon? It's got to be like one of the most expensive movies nobody watched ever. That and that again, maybe it's because of Netflix, but that Chris Pratt movie about the animatronics or something.
Oh, right. Yeah.
By the Avengers people, no one saw that.
Oh,
right? Electric
right,
State,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus. I honestly forgot about that one when I was like, the one where he's a time travel war guy. It's like, no, that's a Prime Video movie, actually. Okay, wait. I did play a lot of Donkey Kong. I've enjoyed it immensely. It is
Yes.
very good. How are you finding it?
I love it. I love it with all of my heart.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it in only the way that a lover can.
It feels like it loves me back.
It
Is how
feels
much I
like
love
it
it.
loves me. I think it
Yeah.
said, "I love you" first.
It's really good to destroy everything. It's really good. Mike, I'll tell you what, it's cute. It's really well animated, and I just love ripping the faces off those rock guys. Give me
Yeah.
every one of those rock guys. I'll talk to them, and as soon as I'm done talking with them, I press the R button, and Donkey Kong just takes his little digits and digs them into their face and just rips it off. And if there's anything left of them, I use their body to destroy it. And it
Yeah.
makes me feel good every time.
And they're
It's
fine
like-
with it.
Yeah,
They love it.
doesn't even phase them.
You know what I love? You know what like really tickled me was when I discovered that when you do like the ground dive, you actually get a little bit of height when you start that animation. So you just cancel out of
Ooh.
that into the roll. That's higher. That's higher than doing the
Oh,
jump. You hold
Now
some
you're
rock.
cooking.
Hold some rock, right? You're holding your boulder, double jump.
Double jump.
Then it seems not intuitive, but you do the down slam. But at the height of that, then you roll out of it, max height, right there.
Whoa. Okay. All right, man. There
So freaking good.
seems like this game might have some movement tech. I don't want to step on any toes, but I think it might have some movement tech. It is a good game to control, and yeah, I'm just into. I'm into everything it's doing. Is the reality? Like, the Pepsi challenge I talked about. Like, picked up the game immediately. It tasted good. Like, this is good. This goes down good. But it continues to be phenomenal as I'm like playing. I'm like, oh, this story is actually really well told, and these characters are nice, and I like spending time with them. And these levels, and the structure of how I'm like now chasing down this boss from one level to another. Oh, I like that too. It has everything going for it. So yeah, very good game.
I'm on sub-layer like 1000 now, so I feel like I'm
I'm 900.
literally pretty deep in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just,
okay, I'm just gonna say it, Jeff, because you said some things about if you don't see Funky Kong in this game, and I've not seen him yet. So I haven't
seen Cranky Kong yet, though, and I know he's in here.
Oh, I did it, and then I saw Dad see him very early, so I went back and found him.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I'm assuming. Is like at this point, it's clear that I've just missed him. Like I'm so deep into this game that he must just be a part of something that I'm.
I think he's like kind of the.
I'm probably playing this game where I just run. I'm like running. Like I am like barely thinking. I am just running and going to the next banana, and I'm really enjoying playing it.
Well, like I am 100% going to probably 100% this game.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to wrap back around. Is what I'm going to do. I'm not being precious about it now.
Right, exactly. Because I know I'm going to go back around. But I think Cranky Kong's kind of the Captain Toad this time. I think he's maybe hidden in every level, and he just gives you a banana when you find him.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing any like really hunt and find other than if I see something pop up on sonar, I'm definitely going after it or something like that.
I upgrade sonar real fast, but I haven't really used the map very much yet. Even I'm just kind of I'm going.
Yep. It feels like a game that encourages that, and then that's going to leave all these treats for me to come back to later when it's time to wrap back around and 100% this game, which I'm definitely going to do. All right, let's explain ourselves. This is Giant Bomb. We're a small team that makes a bunch of video game content for the internet. We're a bunch of doofuses, and you could support us in our efforts here. If you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, all of that money goes towards helping us make cool stuff, enables us to do cool stuff, gets you ad-free versions of the shows, some extra special goodies as well. We'll go to giantbomb.com/join. Gets you all the details there. There's plenty of other ways to support us as well. You go to the store, get some new merch for yourself. There's plenty of that in there as well. That's giantbomb.com/join, though, to support the show. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with 3D character modelers. LinkedIn mentions work on Nintendo SRPG sequel, exclusive to Switch 2. It has been discovered via a 3D character modeler's LinkedIn account that they are working on a Nintendo strategy RPG sequel that is exclusive to the recently launched Nintendo Switch 2. It sounds likely that this could be a new Fire Emblem game, though we obviously don't have any official confirmation on that. Takashi, I'm not sure if this name's spelled right.
I assume.
Yeah, it's got to be Takashi, right? Because the S, the K is before the S here, and the way it's spelled here, so it's a little confusing. Maruyama, the individual concerned, has worked on a number of projects in the past and was a 3D character model designer for Sega up until 2022. No doubt, if this is the project, we'll hear about it more soon, says this story. Yeah, I mean, Fire Emblem is something that we have been wondering about for a while. Now, the story has been that there's been a completed Fire Emblem game sitting off to the side for a long time now, for a couple of years. Well, at least a year, probably getting close to 2 years now. And it's possible that this is the game that this person is talking about, although we really don't know how that's going to present. Does that require a 3D character modeler to work on it? We don't know. But even if that is the case, even if that game is coming out and has nothing to do with this guy, they are almost certainly also working on the next new Fire Emblem as well. Mm-hmm. I guess my question to you, Mike, is like, how do you expect things to go with Fire Emblem on the Switch 2 going forward? Like, do they just pop off like the smaller Fire Emblem remaster? As far as we know, we don't know if that's a remaster. And then they have a big new sequel in like a year, or what are you expecting from this franchise?
Wow, just completely writing off Project Steam, huh?
Yeah, that's right. It could be Project Steam. My apologies. Abe Lincoln is back, ready to kill robots. Yeah. What did you do in that game? I don't remember.
You played it. I didn't. I don't know.
I reviewed it. I hated that game. I really did not like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's got to be Fire Emblem, right? Because, Ubisoft made the Mario and Rabbids games. I think that's done. And I think they regretted making the last Advance Wars. So I don't think they're doing anything else there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're probably Fire Emblem. I expect that we are going to get that remake of that Super Famicom game. I wouldn't even be super shocked if that is kind of a surprise game for this year still. Because, like you said, people have been saying it's been done for a bit. That seems like the one thing we aren't really getting from Nintendo this year for this first year of the Switch 2 is a kind of like bigger, beefier RPG kind of thing. Switch 1 had Xenoblade 2 in that kind of time period.
Oh,
so
yeah, good point.
Kind of putting that in that Xenoblade 2 slot would make some sense to me.
And when you start talking about it that way, Mike, it also starts to make sense to me. Like, that's a game they choose and say, hey, let's save that for the Switch 2's launch year. Like, just go put that on the shelf, and that can fill in that. And that way we don't have to try to, like, force something else into there. It'll just be ready and waiting for us, and that'll give us enough time after Engage to sort of let things cool off. I'm with you on that. That sounds right. So then, do you think that that's what Takashi is working on here?
Maybe, like you said, because that game has maybe been done for a bit, but still, there might be some stuff that had to be done with that. They are definitely going to make a new Fire Emblem. I don't think they want those things to be too close together. It felt like even with Engage, maybe it was more about Engage's quality. Not a terrible game, but not something that really lit the world on fire. But it felt like there was a little bit of Fire Emblem fatigue, right? Three Houses was very well received, very well liked. Also a game that you could play through 3 times. And after doing that, where even the Fire Emblem sickos satiated, they probably still enjoyed Engage. And I bet they'll be happy to get this remake. But then, I don't know if you can do a new Fire Emblem just a year or even just 2 years after that. There might be a little bit more breathing room there. But still, they might be working on that now because they know if they finish it, whenever, they can still kind of put in the backboard. It is still probably the thing that is the most valuable or the most kind of cost-effective thing for that team to work on. What's the name of that team again that does that?
Intelligent Systems.
Intelligence System, right? Like did they do Brothership?
They were involved in Brothership, but that was a new team that mostly
Okay.
did a lot of the work there.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yes,
I don't think Intelligence Systems works on anything else for Nintendo. They work on a few other things, but I don't think they work on anything else that makes more money than Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yes, I was just playing something the other day that had Intelligent Systems on it, but you're right. Nothing. Fire Emblem is their big fish, and that's the one that I think Nintendo wants them to focus on. And I think that they're also everyone involved there probably recognizes that you're right that they've hit a bit of a plateau with Fire Emblem. It clearly shot up with Awakening, and now it's like, okay, after Engage, does it feel like the flames are dying down a little bit on our Fire Emblem? And I think they are probably thinking for the next one they should come with some like something special, something that feels big. And in the meantime, if they have this remake, that's another way to keep Fire Emblem the fans happy and put something out. But then maybe they could take some more time for the next new real one.
Intelligence System also does WarioWare, and we surprisingly got 2 WarioWares pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. Switch one. I don't think are going back to that well soon. They do Paper Mario. Origami King was,
and they weren't involved in Intelligent Systems. Bander's right. I was thinking of Thousand Year Door is what they were involved in. They worked on. Of course, they made a Thousand Year Door. Yeah.
Yeah. So and they worked on the remake too, I believe.
Yes.
So I hope they do a new Paper Mario at some point that is more like Thousand Year Door and less like Origami King. We'll see. But still, I bet they are already working on the brand new bespoke Fire Emblem. And I bet that is still, even above Paper Mario, I bet that's kind of considered their main project.
Yep. I still love Fire Emblem. It's definitely a franchise that, like, when a new one's here, I'm like, oh yeah, I love these games. Can't wait to get into it. I even really liked Engage a lot. I just hope that they learn lessons from that one, where it's just, man, take this combat system that you nailed in Engage, where it's the best it's ever been, and just make sure everything else sort of just feeds into that instead of feeling like a distraction from that, which is what I think Engage's biggest problem was. So we'll see. We are apparently still due for a direct this month. Mike, how are you feeling about that? The rumored July direct that will happen before the end of the month.
You never say no at Nintendo, and when people are hearing things, like, don't immediately discount that. It doesn't feel right at this moment, especially with just a week here. But I mean, because normally we would expect a September direct, but there are a good amount of things we do need to hear about, especially now that Donkey Kong Bonanza is out. There are a lot of games that we know are coming this year that don't have release dates really. Metroid Prime 4, high among them. I believe Kirby Air Riders is just just has 2025. So there's that. And yeah, there probably are still a couple surprises, or some of it is just here's announcing the next GameCube NSO game. Hopefully there's still things like the Metroid Prime 2 remaster and stuff like this Fire Emblem game that I think we are still going to hear about this year, perhaps. So, yeah, even as I'm talking about it now, I begin to believe a little bit more in it. So, I won't be shocked if it happens. I won't be shocked if it doesn't happen. A little wishy-washy, but there it is.
I'm right there with you. While you were talking and you were like listing off some of the games that are coming, I got a terrible feeling, and my stomach got legitimately queasy because I remembered something.
Go.
In 3 days, Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV with the Bowser Live mode for the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. And I think we're probably gonna have to play that.
That is shocking. That seems like weird timing that it's bumping up that close to the Bonanza release date. Like it seems it's offensive.
I get it a little bit with the this just being an update and like everyone just got their stuff for Donkey Kong, but it's so fast. And Donkey Kong feels like a game you want to let breathe, but maybe they're thinking it's a very different audience. Although it's not. My family's playing a ton of Donkey Kong, and Mario Party is a family game. Although I don't think children should play Mario Party. Not because it's bad. It just makes them mad. They hate losing so much, and it's kind of random.
It's eye-opening playing that game with kids because it's made for them, and they can't stand it.
Exactly. You need a certain level of maturity to play a Mario Party, of course.
No, I guess it's like getting them there. I guess it's teaching them a bit.
I guess.
And I tell you what, I kind of enjoy it when it's not necessarily my kid. It's kind of like, haha, yeah, learn how to lose like everyone else, you little piece of shit. But if it was my kid and I had to deal with them being upset for hours, I think I'd rather just avoid the whole thing.
Yep. I'm like, yeah, there's other ways for you to learn how to lose. I don't know if we need to do the 50 turns of Mario, or maybe that's the only way to learn, actually.
Yeah. But Kirby Forgotten Land has its DLC thing coming out August 28th, so we know about that. Age of Imprisonment, no date. I don't even know if that one is like confirmed for. I guess it is confirmed for this year. So yeah, late. Oh, it's like winter. It's one of those winter things.
Right,
So,
right. They could be late this year or early next year. That's why Kit and Krista said Nintendo uses winter specifically so they can do that. If they want to put a game out, they're like, maybe it could come out in December, but we're not sure if we want to do that. They say winter. It's a pretty funny thing to hear.
So right now their big holiday game is Pokemon Legends EA. That's October 16th.
Oh, yeah, one of the biggest games.
Yeah, both Switch 1 and Switch 2, but I don't think that really matters. Although, part of me is like, maybe they still want like a big Switch 2 exclusive-y thing. But then I'm like, would the Fire Emblem game really be a Switch 2 exclusive? That one that's been done for 2 years and is a remake of a Super Famicom game? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. This one, that we're talking about for the story apparently is, but I don't think the remake would be. But again, we don't really know. It's hard to get specifics on that. And it's been on the shelf for so long. Who knows how Nintendo changes their mind about things and shifts up how they present it when it finally comes. We'll see. All right. Actually, you know what? It's late enough into the show. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the rest of the headlines after this. If you want to skip out on this, you're listening to the podcast version, go to giantbomb.com/join, get the ad-free version of the show. Otherwise, we'll be back right after these. This episode of Giant Bomb is brought to you by giantbomb.com/join. Join us there, become a member. It helps us make fun stuff. It gets you ad-free content. It also helps us make some extras here and there that we'll give exclusively to you as members. It's giantbomb.com/join for $10 a month or $100 a year where you save $20. You can support us in making all the cool stuff that we make over here at Giant Bomb. Once again, that's giantbomb.com/join. Become a member now. All right, Game Mess Mornings is back. Jeff Grubb, Mike Minotti. Here's the next headline. Here's when Battlefield 6 could be revealed, and it's soon. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Battlefield 6, or whatever the game may be called, will be announced on July 31st. That's according to a new report. Insider Gaming reported that EA and DICE plan to reveal the game on that day as part of an event likened to Call of Duty Next, which is Activision's annual announcement event for the Call of Duty series. The report added that EA and DICE are inviting people to a behind closed doors event to play the new Battlefield game beginning July 29th, with the event, culminating in the global reveal of the game on the 31st. People can expect to see gameplay footage and hear directly from developers, the report said. Insider Gaming also reported that some influencers are being sent care packages pointing to an upcoming announcement. The post referenced above has since been deleted, but Insider Gaming said it's legitimate. Yeah, okay. It does feel like this game is imminent. Is this out this year? It must be if they're talking about it now. It has to be out this year, right?
He has confirmed that Battlefield 6 will be released by the end of March 2026, is what it says here.
Okay, so the end of the fiscal is what they're going with.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically any time before the end of this year, but maybe early next year. Okay, sure. Yeah, that sounds right. So a reveal event, that makes sense. How do you think they present Battlefield 6 in 2025, Mike?
It seems like they're going to, I don't want to say fake it till they make it here, but they are acting like this is a giant deal, even though the series has been kind of cold. And I think they're just going to pretend like that never happened, right? Like it's still just the fat days for Battlefield.
Right, you kind of fake it till you make it. It kind of is back on the menu for EA, it seems like here, yeah.
Yeah, so they're just going to pretend like this is a giant deal. They're getting Battlefield 6, even calling it Battlefield 6, right? As if there was affinity for the numbered entries still.
We don't know if that's going to be the name, but that is what everyone's been calling it so far, I think. Yeah.
I think I saw somebody say, I saw a separate story at some point over the weekend saying that it was going to be called that. I don't know if that...
I believe it. I think you're right. And I think it's exactly what you're saying, that they're trying to be precious about the numbered entries.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Battlefield can't be good. There's, there's some good DNA there. They've had missteps, and I do wonder if people will care like they hope they will. Maybe it is just a matter of having it all come together. But it's difficult to make it all come together these days, Jeff. They have been, it's not like, oh, this time we're going to try harder. They always try hard, and sometimes people just don't like it or it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is the one where things have changed. Dice had a chance to do something with 2042. EA's like, go figure it out, take some risks, try to ensure that you know the future of Battlefield. Didn't work, at least according to EA's goals. And so Vince Zampella is now in charge of Battlefield, the Call of Duty guy, the guy that made Call of Duty, and then made Respawn, and now is a major player as an executive inside of EA, overseeing studios. He's overseeing this game, and it's okay. So what juice is he going to bring to try to change things up? And I just don't know how much you can change Battlefield. I don't think you really change the fundamental gameplay, right? That's going to be pretty similar. If anything, it's just going to be amped up. I think it's all about like how they try to get people on the treadmill, and how they try to get people in the door with a, at one time reported free to play battle royale mode similar to Warzone from Call of Duty. And it's just like, God, that sounds like also ran stuff that is.
They've tried that before with Battlefield, and it didn't take. So what are you
have they done it as free to play?
In?
I can't remember.
I don't know if they've done it free to play, but like maybe that was part of the problem. But was that entirely the problem? Like if people really liked that mode, I bet it would have taken off a little bit more than not at all.
Yeah, it's
before. Okay.
Every time we talk about Battlefield 6, I always bring up like, this is a game series that started in the old days and now is on the other side of the Fortnite divide, where if people want to go play a shooter online with their friends, they don't just have free-to-play alternatives. They have the free-to-play defaults. These are the things that people, when you say, let's go online and play a video game, people are thinking of Fortnite first. They're thinking of a couple other stuff as well, but in this genre, they're thinking of Fortnite. Maybe they're thinking of Apex Legends. They're thinking of a free-to-play game, though, because that way they don't have to pay anything up front. Battlefield 6 almost certainly still is going to, likely for most of its modes, be asking for a price up front. And then they say something like, we're going to have 100 million players. I think they only mean that because they're going to have this free-to-play alternative. And what can that possibly do to like have the impact, a greater impact than something like Apex Legends did when it launched? Because that was still in like the... actually, you know what? That wasn't even at the time when Battle Royales felt fresh and new. We were already saying, oh, this is a genre that already has its big games in here. No one else can come in. Apex Legends got in just under the wire and rushed to 50 million players and did really well. But now we're years on from that to the point where Apex Legends is on its like slow decline. How can Battlefield 6 possibly reach 100 million players? I don't know, Mike.
That seems like wacky math to me. I have no idea how it can get to that. It just doesn't seem like a franchise that has that much excitement around it anymore.
Yep. We'll see how they present it. I'm curious, but I think you're right about them kind of just declaring that this is a big deal and hoping that they're manifesting. It's the secret. They've been watching their Oprah, and they think they can make it happen. Tuesday's Pokémon Presents will be the longest Pokémon broadcast since 2023. That's 2 years ago, Jordan Midler from VGC. What are we doing here? The runtime for the upcoming Pokemon Presents presentation has been revealed. The Pokemon Company will hold a Pokemon Presents presentation on Tuesday, although no information has been announced about the content of the stream. We know now how long it will last, as revealed by metadata from the Pokemon YouTube channel. The stream will be just over 24 minutes. We should remind people, right, Mike, that a Pokemon Presents does not necessarily mean a Pokemon video game direct. This is the Pokemon Company coming to people and saying, here's a bunch of products and apps and maybe sometimes services that we offer up that have to do with Pokemon. And you shouldn't necessarily believe you're going to get a ton of news about a ton of different video games. There will be video game news in there, but there's no reason to think that's going to be the focus, right?
No, I think Sean has said specifically the one that kind of happens around this time is often very product focused. Now, they are going to talk about Pokemon Legends ZA. That game is coming out this year. But for, the people like me who are really hoping for a black and white remake and want that to happen, maybe it happens here, but probably not. All right, you'll probably get, here's a couple new DLC characters for Pokemon Unite, right? And here's, a Pikachu with a new hat coming to Pokemon Go, and here's the next card game, and another phone app, right? That kind of stuff is most likely, or, a trailer for another Netflix show or cartoon, a lot of that stuff.
Yep. It's I think Jan on the Giant Bomb account in chat saying he's done with Pokemon, all caps.
Jan will be brought back in so quickly, and know it as soon as he sees something that catches his fancy.
No, you missed the first message. I'm done with them because they turned down my press badge inquiry for Pokemon Worlds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't know they personally offended you.
They didn't even give you a not for play or whatever badge.
They didn't even give me a companion pass this time.
That's right. Mr. Companion Pass, Jan Ochoa. Yeah. I think that there are people who are in a weird place with Pokemon. I don't think Pokemon is, the company is all that worried about changing to accommodate shifting taste among some of their older audience members. They're too good at getting new people playing to really care about that all much. And yet it still feels like Pokemon needs something. It just needs a reckoning of some sort. And that's usually with the technological side of things, the way the games run.
Sure.
We're at the Switch 2 now. Those games can run at 60 frames per second. The ones that were really problematic, Scarlet and what was it? Scarlet and Violet. Thank you. Do you think that they kind of talk about that side of things at all during something like this, or is this just them selling stuff?
Oh no, absolutely not. No. And I think everybody does want to see what does that next gen look like? The first made for Switch 2 generation, right? Because Bonanza has kind of opened my eyes a bit. Wow, a Nintendo game made for Switch 2 that there actually is something really neat and impressive here. What can Pokemon do? Expectations are low because they haven't done much, but it does, it already seems like they're taking maybe a bit more time here. Now, some of that time is going towards the development of Pokemon Legends EA, and that's fine. I'm excited for that game. I liked Legends Arceus more than I liked any of the generational games on the Switch 1. Yeah, I think everyone just really wants to see what that looks like, but I think we're still a bits away there.
All right, moving on to different Nintendo news. Nintendo records reveal that staff numbers are up overall and employees rarely leave. This is from Lewis Packwood at GamesIndustry.biz. Newly disclosed employee information from Nintendo has revealed that people tend to work for the company for a very long time indeed, as spotted by Go Nintendo. The employee records, which were updated in June and are for the period from April 2024 through March 2025, show that people stay at Nintendo for an average of 14.4 years. The average term of service for Nintendo of America employees, meanwhile, is 10 years. For Nintendo of Europe, the figure is slightly higher at 11.1 years, and for Nintendo of Australia, it's 8.5 years. Across the board, men tend to stay for slightly longer than women. The employee turnover rate for Japan is a minuscule 1.9%, which is up to 5.7% for America, 6% for Europe, and 16.7% for Australia. The stats also reveal that Nintendo has a total of 5,630 full-time employees worldwide, and that number is like a fifth of what Ubisoft has, which is a surprisingly tiny number considering how much profit the firm makes. Nintendo reported a gross profit of nearly $5 billion for the year ending March 31st, 2025, which is equivalent to $870,000 per employee. For comparison, according to its results for the same year, Sony had 12,000 employees in its games and network services, down slightly from 12,700 the year before. The division reported an operating income of $2.8 billion for the year, equivalent to $231,000 per employee. I think this is something that came up last year where someone kind of had a chart of how much per employee each company was making. And Ubisoft was down in 5 digits, less than 100,000 per employee, which is clearly unsustainable because that's probably their margin completely eaten up by labor. But almost $1 million per employee for Nintendo is insane.
Yeah.
An astonishing number. Now, I think the reason that they are able to get to that is because people stick around at Nintendo. The subtext of this story, Mike, is the thing that actually sets Nintendo apart is, one, the most talented people, especially in Japan, but the most talented people want to work there. They have that Disney-like effect. I grew up on this stuff. I'm interested in this art form. I want to learn about this art form because I want to work at this place that made me fall in love with this stuff in the first place. And then once those people go to work there, they never leave. They have their lessons that they've learned throughout their career that they apply going forward. And now we're in a situation where like a Mario Wonder comes out, and most of the people that worked, like most of the 5 people that made Super Mario Brothers, still worked on that game. And they're able to then pass on that knowledge to the next generation. And now we're kind of like onto like a point where there's a new generation under that new generation that is coming up, and everyone is still there and teaching one another about how to make games. And it shows up in the products, right? Like that Donkey Kong Bonanza feels like a game made by people who've been making games for 40 years.
No, exactly. I was thinking that making that game, right? Like, man, if like, certain teams kind of can stick together, or I don't know, you just can amass that much confidence and savvy talent, incredible things can happen. It's just a shame that there aren't more studios in that position, largely because a lot of other studios are constantly firing and mistreating their employees. And I'm sure Nintendo's not perfect in a lot of ways, right? This isn't talking about wages.
Or like contract work, right? These people that work at Nintendo.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, exactly. When honestly, they probably could buy some of these studios, and maybe they shouldn't. Maybe it's better they're independent. I don't know.
Who knows?
Nintendo's not perfect, but I think that this is part of the key to their success is this employee retention.
Yep. Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of other factors that helps Nintendo. Them being able to play on the nostalgia side of things to keep people working there and attract people in the first place. That of course helps. And most other companies can't replicate what Nintendo has done. That's why they haven't done that. So it's a little bit of a unicorn situation. But I do think that if there's one thing, like all this information that you get from Nintendo about how they operate, if there's one thing that you should try to replicate as a business, it probably is be pretty conservative with hiring and try to keep people around for as long as you possibly can. So once they work in there, they're treat them as lifetime employees, and that probably will pay off in the long run. It certainly has for Nintendo. All right, Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is giving fan favorite characters new dialogue. This is from Scott Barrett at DualShockers. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is adding new dialogue for fan favorite characters in its enhanced mode, giving the original team the chance to reinsert material that didn't make the cut the first time around. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is a ground-up remake that attempts to emulate the original game while updating the essentials for modern hardware, such as the visuals. Unfortunately, this remake won't include any of the extra content from the War of Lions PSP port, which means fewer jobs and battles than that version of the game. It turns out that Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles will have more content. Was this written, Mike? Why does he use the full title each time? Scott Barrett, tell me you're not using AI.
I mean, each website has its own style guide, and maybe the editor there's like, we don't. Nope, you got to say the full thing every time, and I hope that you continue to respect that, Jeff.
Yeah, I will do it. If he's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Ivalice, by the way, Ivalice.
I knew I was saying it wrong, but I couldn't think of the right way. Ivalice, is that it?
Ivalice.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. So they're getting new dialogue for the game. Mostly, I just wanted to bring this up because one, I can't remember what is your history with Final Fantasy Tactics. Have you played them before? For some reason, I think you haven't.
I've only ever I've started both the original and War of Lions, and I actually never got too far. So this is one I've been wanting to replay.
Right, that's what it
badly. And this remake was rumored forever, so I was like, okay, I'll just wait till that. So here it comes. So I'm definitely diving in. I am a little now I'm like, well, crap, what version am I playing? Because it has the enhanced original version and now this more spruced up with voice acting and extra dialogue version. I assume I will just play that one, but I'm curious to hear what the sickos say when they review it and check out both.
Yeah, you always hope in this situation, when you hear stuff isn't going to be included, it's easy to get up in your feelings about that sort of thing. I always hope we get on the other side and it's oh no, the choices they made worked out really well. That has happened frequently. But there's also no guarantee, and it's Square Enix. They could easily beef it up.
Where's my Final Fantasy IX remake?
Yeah,
Where is it?
Yeah, so they're they are adding new dialogue to this. Does something like this like make you worried? Like, oh, maybe Final Fantasy IX was like something they were doing alongside this, and they felt they had to choose because they wanted to do more work on each of them, and they just chose Tactics over 9 in the end, and they like just put 9 on the shelf.
I think it's anything like that. Whatever's going on with 9 is just about that project. I don't think whatever's going on over here had too much to do with it.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about them talking about wanting to work on fewer projects after their recent financial troubles because of several big, not flops, but stuff missing targets as they do for Square Enix. I'm just like, did this get caught up in that for some reason? I hope not, or not this, Final Fantasy IX, I should say. All right.
This was certainly the cheaper project than a Final Fantasy IX remake.
Right.
Certain.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Actually, I'm not still hopeful for Final Fantasy IX at this point.
You can't even lie to me. Damn.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. But
I'm not feeling too hopeful either. I'm not feeling too hopeful.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, last few headlines here. Let's get through these. Atari 50 is getting yet another DLC pack, this time focused on Namco titles. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, is getting another DLC expansion in the form of the Namco Legendary Pack DLC. No release date has been set at the time of writing. The new DLC will contain an additional timeline looking at Namco's history with Atari, along with multiple playable versions of Atari Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, and Xevious. And you can expect a whole load of new photos, archival material, videos, and interviews, with the trailer highlighting more footage from the interviews between Atari's co-founder Nolan Bushnell and current CEO Wade Rosen. I think this stuff rules. I'm glad that they're able to do this because it's like it feels like, okay, if they want to like go back and look at these other games, are they going to have to do a whole new game? That seems like it's troublesome to justify. But adding DLC packs to this thing that already has established itself as one of the premier products for understanding Atari's history, and just adding it onto that's fantastic. I think this is really cool. And I really enjoy the way that this team has approached this stuff. So hearing we're getting even more of those interviews is very exciting for me, Mike. What do you think about this?
That was super cool, especially, like I know that the Pac-Man 2600 or, Pac-Man for the Atari 2600 is an amazing port. I don't know much about the Atari 5200 version of that. So
right.
I'd like to see, what that looks like. I really don't know much about the home versions of Dig Dug outside of the one I had on NES. So yeah, I think all this stuff is great. I think Atari 50 was a really cool thing, and I love that they're adding more to it. And I'd like to see more kind of history lesson collections like that.
Yep, I hope they're able to do a ton more. That Tetris one was awesome. One thing I like about it is, they have real researchers, real journalists working on these games to do these interviews to sort of like add the editorial side of we are going to have a documentary, and so we're going to fact check these claims made by people. The Tetris one had what's his name talking about how he had one of the first RPGs in Japan, and he came from the Netherlands or something, or maybe he was Danish. But he like worked in Japan, and he released one of this is Hank Rogers, so the guy that worked with Alexei Pajitnov on Tetris. And kind of like looking into that, we're like, that's crazy. That can't be right. And it's like, I don't know. By all measures, like the thing sold 500,000 copies. It was released his first RPG, and it was released in Japan before it was released before Wizardry, which is the thing that really is credited with bringing RPGs as video games to Japan. It's like, man, yeah, that thing must have been pretty influential. Maybe not as influential as Wizardry, but it's just like I love learning little tidbits like that, and then like trying to go back and look and like how accurate is this claim. But the thing with these games is you can trust that there's some veracity to it because the people who work on it and make it have a certain bar, a certain standard before they would include just any random claim. So it's like it's a legitimate piece of history that you can learn from, and I really appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to that Mortal Kombat one. Pretty very.
Oh boy, yeah, that's very exciting. Like honestly, one of my most anticipated games is that thing. All right. The age of mechanics is over, claims Shadow of the Colossus director Ueda. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian director Fumito Ueda believes that the age of new game mechanics is over. Speaking in a new interview alongside Katamari creator Keita Takahashi, Fumito Ueda shared that he believes the current era of games is focused on improving existing mechanics or focusing on the look and feel of a game rather than introducing something entirely new. Speaking to a website, Ueda recounted his first reaction to Takahashi's latest game to a T. I don't remember exactly why I replied with a like at the time, but I was probably thinking the era of game mechanics is over, Ueda said. I wonder if we are no longer in the era where we need to provide new devices or new game mechanics every single game. Does that ring true to you? I don't know if I've been thinking about this too much as I read this headline, but it was definitely something like, maybe we should talk that out.
Yeah, I mean,
There's something to it.
When you first see the headline, it sounds kind of scandalous. And when you know, like, oh, we don't need to like obsess over doing something completely new every time. Part of it is like, what's new, right? It's like, how much do we really think Tears of the Kingdom is just Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, and how much do we actually think it's so improved and more complex than that it's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
We're playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. Even I've played other Destruction games, but a lot of that still feels new-ish to me. But if you want to say that's not a new mechanic, then sure, right? Like, what's a new mechanic? But yeah, look, of course it's going to be harder to think of something brand new or to come up with a game like a Katamari was at the time. It was like nobody thought about a game where you just rolled stuff up in a giant ball. Maybe that's a bit more difficult, and maybe that shouldn't be like the hook before moving forward with any decent game idea. I don't know. I don't know if I would phrase it as the age of game mechanics is over. Game mechanics is more important than ever.
Right.
But, you know, we aren't in that PS2 era of constantly coming up with brand new ideas.
Right. This makes me just think about a ton of things. I think you're right that mechanics are super important right now because visuals have certainly plateaued for almost the last 10 years. The thing limiting them is no longer the hardware, it's time and money. And so that's a really dangerous game. You can't get into that race unless you have all of the time and money in the world. And that's 2 or 3 developers that have that. So you have to set yourself apart in different ways. That means mechanics. But I don't know, maybe what he's trying to get at here is, at a certain point in human history of the tradition of telling stories, we discovered there's only so many plots. There's like 26 plots. And maybe for game mechanics, it's something similar. Like you can run, you can jump, you can point at something and pull a trigger and a projectile comes out. You can simulate physics. I don't know. It feels like the list can get pretty long. So I don't know if I felt like I started going down there, when would I stop? And then obviously it's like, okay, so maybe one of those fundamental like building block mechanics, like the era of discovering new one of those certainly does seem like it's probably over. But it's all in the combination of those things, right? It's cooking. It's you have all these items you can use. You throw them together into a stew to make something new. Or we only have had so many frequencies that we've ever heard in our life. But it still feels like I hear new sounds all the time in music. So
I think Blueprints is like the great example of that, where it did a lot of things and none of them were necessarily new, but I just never saw them combined in that way. And it absolutely created something new while you're doing that. And, we still get like kind of, is proximity chat a game mechanic? Yes, right. And maybe not what they mean, but like that's something that feels like it's taken off more recently, and we have been getting stuff like Peak because of that. And I don't know, something like playing Peak, that still felt kind of new to me and interesting. So yeah, I don't, if they're trying to imply a stagnation of creativity. It's certainly in like a big AAA space at like a Ubisoft, maybe that's the case. But in gaming in general, I don't really worry about that a whole ton.
Yeah, I feel like new ideas are popping up all the time, and even if it's like by his definition, maybe it's not a new mechanic, but there's new ways of play, of engaging in play, and like Prox Chat is a good example of that.
Right, but go even before Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild totally was a lot of new mechanics that stood down. Now, Breath of the Wild is actually quite a bit old already, right? So that is maybe not of this age anymore. So maybe it's not a great example. I don't know.
12 years after Xbox One's all-in vision, Microsoft will no longer sell films or TV shows. Jordan Miller, VGC again. Mike, did you know that they still did that? I did not know.
Like, can I go buy the seasons of The Office on the Microsoft Store?
I think you could. Yes, I think you literally could. Now, can you do that on PlayStation? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not buying episodes of seasons of TV shows anymore. Yes, apparently yes you can on PlayStation. Wild. Okay, interesting.
Weird. Okay. PS got rid of it too. Okay, so we're getting mixed messages. That's all right. Well, but I was mostly asking because I was like, should I phrase the poll question for both consoles? You guys will see what that is when we get to it. But
Oh,
yeah,
exciting.
weird that they ever did this. Not weird that they stopped. But I mean, we know why they were doing it at the time. The story of the
Everyone
Xbox One is we have the Xbox 360 and it's connected to the internet, so we see how everyone uses their thing, and they're all using it to watch Netflix. They're watching way more TV and movies than they're playing video games. We need to get into that business because that's where the money's going to be made. So they reoriented everything to be on that side of the fence. And boy, that's not what people actually bought their consoles for. Maybe it's why they used them, but it's not why they bought them. And it's honestly that was the moment where Xbox just lost it and they were never able to like really recover. And I doubt they sold all that many movies and TV shows in the meantime. They have a knack for deciding to get into a game as it's starting to fall apart.
Yeah, like God, like were they like recently adding new movies still?
I
Like
think
could
so, yeah.
That's incredible. I almost like want to go buy a movie on there. That's
I know.
insane to me.
I think I like did a Wario 64 code once and got a free movie. I think it's like the Lego Batman movie. I think I have that on my Xbox account.
I don't think I got, part just because I don't care that much about movies anymore. But I can't tell you the last time I bought a movie. I don't own any movies anymore, and it's kind of sad. But it's just also where I am. I don't own movies. It's bad.
Last story here. Amazon's Mass Effect adaptation has the same team behind it as the Fallout show. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. It appears that Amazon has a trusted team working on its video game adaptations, as two major projects are sharing the same team. Both Mass Effect and Fallout have the same team attached to them, as confirmed by Mass Effect writer and producer Daniel Casey. In a post on Instagram, Casey reveals that the pilot has been scripted and the series outline is written too. The team that Amazon has in place is a quote now. Same team as Fallout, including the fantastic Scott Ferris, is incredible, he writes. I don't know if that means like everyone down to like all the showrunners and things like that. I think it's like going to be different parts here and there. But I think what he means is like the producing team, the executive producers, and maybe some of the actual producers. Either way, like I take this as I'm hopeful when I hear this, because I thought that Fallout show was pretty good. It's not one I think about a lot, but I definitely, when I was watching it, enjoyed myself. And I think if Mass Effect can hit that level of quality, I'll be very happy. I'm like at a point now, Mike, where I'm like, hey, I think I want a good Mass Effect show. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to get a good Mass Effect show. So maybe that part of that is just me fooling myself. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it could definitely be done. I think it could be even more expensive than a Fallout show. Those aliens are, because it was a video game. That was one of the cool things about Mass Effect, was that they didn't have to design the aliens to just be in that Star Trek mold. It's a human with one or two face prosthetics. They really look like aliens. So you either have to have really complicated makeup and costumes, or it's just got to be all CG solutions for that stuff. It's not like, those are very prominent, right? Like if you have a Garrus type character, he's going to be in a lot of scenes. If you have a Rex like character, he's got to be in a lot of scenes. So it could be expensive. A lot of TV's expensive now. That probably isn't a problem. I wonder, with the Fallout show, they weren't adapting any specific Fallout story, right? They did something new.
They kind of did the Marvel thing, right? Where you take the lore and sort of adapt various arcs or various ideas and apply that to film. Yeah.
Yeah. So I even though just doing a adaptation of the Commander Shepard story would be popular, I can see him going that route. I could see it maybe being easier and a bit more freeing if they also just do some other story in the Mass Effect universe. Although that's a little tricky, because so far there have been 0 well-received non-Commander Shepard stories in the Mass Effect universe. Where Fallout had a bunch of different stories. There aren't reoccurring characters, blah, blah, blah. With Mass Effect, maybe there is a bit more of an expectation, like, hey, where is Garrus? Where is Rex? Where is Liara? Where are these people?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to sit down and start thinking like, what would I do if I were making this show? it's like it's tough because they're clearly going to want a human main character. But I would want to do something with the what was the rank, the special rank that Commander Shepard got?
Vector.
Yes, like I would want to do something with that crew, but maybe that could be like something that's happening in the background that the humans are dealing with, and that could be where that could be the source of the tension. Yeah, go ahead.
Remember Spectre? There's like funny memes at the time with like every BioWare game having like the same plot. It's like of like being welcomed into like super secret cool club.
Yes.
It's like you are a Jedi, you are a Spectre, you are a Warden. It was always the same thing. It's like damn, they do that a lot, don't they?
They knew it worked for the genre of video game they were making. And they're not wrong. All right, poll questions. Let's get to that over here.
You are an Inquisitor. You are in the Veil Guard. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I just keep doing it and never stop doing it. Poll question from last week. Let's see. Here we go. Do you want Infamous to come back? Yes, no, or who? 61% said yes, 25% said no, and 13% said who? Yeah, man, okay. People want Infamous back. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised by that. Do you think enough people want Infamous back that Sony, and which has to pay for the Spider-Man license separate for the games as opposed to the movie, do you think that they would be like, hey, maybe we should just go back to Infamous and save $100 million on licensing fees?
Kind of see it, right?
Like
the Spider-Man thing might start to run out of juice a little bit. Maybe not. Those games do make
but
a ton of money.
enough that like the licensing fee comes into play, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, we can't make. It's not a Call of Duty thing. We're not going to be able to get these Spider-Man games forever. Even with 2, there was like some people like, it's already falling off. So that still sold incredibly well. So maybe that doesn't matter. But yeah, I could see them. There's a lot, Jeff. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see Resistance again. I don't know if we see Killzone again. Resistance, that's one. Or, Infamous, that's one I can see them perhaps trying again.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Not anytime soon, because...
No, they're busy with, Wolverine and 3 other Spider-Man games. And, I hope we get a Ratchet and Clank. That's the good shit to me, but...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right. If they do something else, it probably would be Ratchet and Clank. This is, the games you just mentioned, it's like X-Men is also, they're making that. And that's like coming out in 2030 or supposed to come out in like 2030
Venom,
or something.
right?
Yeah.
Supposedly too. So yeah, like... No, but when I say someday, I mean maybe 15 years from now, right?
Right. But eventually they will get on the other side of this Marvel license. They just will. And at that point, I think they might reconsider Infamous, but I don't know if it happens anytime soon. Maybe they do a remake of the first 2 games, because those are, I think they stream on the cloud if you want to play them on PlayStation 4 and 5. And yeah, just do native versions, re-releases of those. That would go a long way. We have a new poll question. Before we get to that, though, Mike Minotti, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good
Infamous
stuff.
was an Insomniac. Oh my God, it's Sucker Punch.
Oh, that's right. God, yeah.
Oh,
man, we did that whole
God,
thing. Okay.
I got it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was like, when you started saying that last one, my brain skipped a little bit. I'm like, no, we've been talking this whole time. We would have caught it by now. So Rocket Robot on Wheels should come back instead, is what we were trying to say.
Yes.
Just go do that. All right, Mike. Listen, live production. The brain doesn't always work.
I should have known, because there's no wacky weapons in Infamous. It's just powers.
Just powers. Did they just take Troy Baker and make him the character in one of those games? Because I was looking at a character model. I'm like, that looks like Troy Baker.
In what? In an Infamous? Now I'm all sorts of messed up.
Yeah, in an Infamous. You know what, Mike? You take the rest of the show off. I'll handle it from here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, bye.
You can't leave.
Why did he do that? Why?
I don't know. He takes bits too far. This is the problem with him. We have the meeting soon. I'll bring it up there as one of the many complaints we'll have against them. Yeah, you can yell at him.
Look, I'll say it. You should probably have to see Seaman at some point.
God damn it.
I felt bad. I came back, and that's still my intro thing when I join, apparently.
New poll question. Did you buy movies or TV shows through your Xbox? I'm legit curious if anyone ever did this. Yes or no. You can respond to the poll. We'll get the results. We'll talk about it on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb on Wednesday. Speaking of Giant Bomb, Mitch owns Mondays. Mike, is it a full-on Monday Mitch Mega Block?
Sure is. What I wanted to say, I think Troy Baker played that guy who was a Native American, and that was a great. But then I was like, I better be careful in case that wasn't true. But apparently that did happen. Yeah, it's Monday. We're gonna play Myst. We might beat Myst 1.
Oh, I'm excited.
That will be fun. And then yeah, Mega Man tonight. Gosh, I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm gonna play for that yet. I'll figure that out. Figure something fun for Mega Man. We
You know
already
what?
showed.
Can I
Dawn
throw out a
Appreciation.
recommendation? It's a new game. I guess we'll have to see if we can get you a code.
I don't know. Last time I played Dragon's Lair, that was a very old game. People
listen. You can play whatever you want. I just want to throw. I
maybe
want to throw out a
should balance it out.
recommendation.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's see. I got the Drifter. It is the hot new point-and-click adventure with pixel graphics that people are going apeshit for. It did really well in reviews last week. It's on Steam. You can check it out there.
This Wadget. Nope. Oh, look at that. That looks kind of neat. Now, not all of us have your fancy Steam account. But,
sure, I was gonna say I'll try to get you a code. Yeah,
I should probably. You know what? I should play this game at some point. This looks up my alley. Oh, look.
I think it looks up your alley. Is what I was thinking.
Add to wish list. There you go.
There you go. All right, so Mitch will own Mondays here pretty soon. What time does that start? You're going to do Monday mornings Myst with Mitch, where I'll be on that as well, starting at 1:30 p.m. Does that sound right to you?
Pacific or Eastern? I can't remember.
Eastern, 1:30 Eastern.
Yeah, that sounds right. I know that Mega Man's at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
For sure. We have a calendar. Let me open that up real quick. La.
Yeah, it says 1:30 here for.
Oh, you're looking at it. Yes, 1:30 Eastern for Myst. Everybody, we're doing great. We have a meeting too. I got some Paneras here. I got mac and cheese. My tummy's a little hurty after colonoscopy. I think because of the biopsies are healing that they did.
Oh, sure.
So I don't know why, but I'm like, soft food will be better for me. So give me mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese will heal you for sure. That's what the colon craves. All right, everybody. I think we're probably going to wrap up the show. Mike Minotti, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I did it.
You did it. You all did it as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.